Hey everyone, welcome to the Kawfee Break, a gaming pit stop. I'm your host, Cup of Coffee, or Coffee for short, here to bring you all things gaming, from in-depth reviews to the latest news and creator highlights. This is episode 46, Grifting Through Games, Xbox in 2025, and SnowBikeMike Shines. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Cup of Coffee Break for exclusive content. Follow me on Twitch at Cup of Coffee for live streams, and connect with me on Twitter and Instagram at Cup of Coffee. Today, we're diving into a review of the much anticipated game that is not really a game, but deserves to be reviewed anyways, the Grifter Game. I'll share some exciting gaming news and a spotlight on a content creator you should definitely check out. So grab your favorite cup of coffee, settle in, and let's get into it. Welcome to the Grifter Game Review, where we dive into the game of YouTube's video game Grifters. This game has all the elements of a viral success: sensationalism, manipulation, and the relentless pursuit of profit. Let's see if this game is worth playing or if it's just another cash grab. Gameplay mechanics consist of three areas. Monetization grind. The primary objective of the Grifter game is to maximize profits, and the gameplay revolves around getting as many views as possible. Players are encouraged to exploit YouTube's algorithm by crafting attention-grabbing thumbnails, catchy titles, and content that appeals to trending topics. The goal? Get those ad revenues rolling in. Number 2, clickbait combat. In this game, players are rewarded for mastering the art of clickbait. You can create misleading titles, tease fake leaks, or hype up a game with exaggerated opinions. The more outrageous, the better the rewards. It's a constant battle to keep the audience engaged, even if the content itself doesn't deliver. Number 3, low entry, high stakes. Starting your journey as a grifter is easy. All you need is a camera, a microphone, and a dash of audacity. The game is open to anyone with minimal requirements, making it easy to jump in and start exploiting the system for quick fame and fortune. The plot of the game revolves around the rise of a creator who at first genuinely loves gaming, but slowly gets drawn into the world of easy money and sensational content. As they progress, they gain popularity by riding the coattails of bigger trends, controversies, and viral moments. But with every success, they lose a bit of their authenticity and integrity, making their journey more hollow as they continue to chase the next big payday. The soundtrack features loud, flashy beats designed to keep the audience hooked, while the graphics are over the top and designed to trigger FOMO, fear of missing out. The vibrant, exaggerated visuals are meant to distract from the lack of substance, much like the content itself. The game thrives in multiplayer mode, where you can interact with other creators and audiences. The more followers you have, the higher your rank. But beware, there are risks. Some players try to manipulate their audiences by creating false loyalty or exclusive content. The community is divided between genuine creators and those who only care about the grind, and in this world, trust is rare. Final verdict. The Grifter game might be a lucrative adventure for some, but it comes with a hefty price. Authenticity, trust, and integrity go out the window for the sake of profit. If you're looking for a shallow experience that appeals to trends and sensationalism, this game will definitely keep you entertained. But for those who value genuine content, be prepared to be disappointed. Overall rating, 2 out of 5 stars. Great for short-term success, but not much else. So, my thoughts. In a day and age where everyone can pick up a camera and a microphone and create a video about anything, it's really not a surprise that the increase in, quote, creators, if I'll even call them that, creating this fake outrage content and grift content has reached an all-time high. I think it was significantly higher this year than it was last year. And at one point, last year compromised what I love with an idea of jumping into falsified arguments and debates that contributed nothing to my creativity or desire to continue to fulfill my love of gaming. I simply jumped on the bandwagon, thought I had an argument to make, and I really didn't, based off of preconceived notions that were set by bigger creators that were really set out to do one thing, and that was grift, to monetize their content. The larger creators that knew all that, knew what to make and why they were doing it, were doing nothing more than expanding their base and pockets, while most gamers really were none the wiser. My point, honestly, is that there's really nothing to gain and everything to lose if you're a smaller creator. If you genuinely love games and love creating gaming content, then stick with what you love, because at the end of the day, it's not going to bring fulfillment. And some people, that's honestly what they like to do. And I had said that once before, and I went against what my gut told me. And in the long run, I ended up having a year where I didn't create any content. Real quick, if you enjoy this episode so far, don't forget to check out more content on my YouTube channel, The Cup of Coffee Break, and catch my live streams on Twitch. Links are in the show notes. Now, it's time for your gaming news. So story number one, upcoming Xbox games in 2025. This is a story from Games Radar from Sam Loveridge. 2025 is slated to be a potentially big year for games. Given everything we saw at the Game Awards, it really, at a minimum, will set up an even bigger 2026. But there are some standout titles that are going to be coming out. We got Civilization 7, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Avowed, which looks really good, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Monster Wilds, that's one I'm really looking forward to, Split Fiction, and those are the ones that we just know about right now. I mean, there's so many others that don't really have release dates. I mean, Monster Hunter Wilds is gonna be good. I know it comes out February 28th, and then it should be coming to Game Pass, not really sure when. Split Fiction is another one. It's supposed to be released on March 6th. That looks really good. But then you have other titles that were announced at the Game Awards. The Outer Worlds 2, Elden Ring Night Reign, Ark 2, which I'm not even sure if that's coming out this year, but Borderlands 4, Crimson Desert, that one looks really, really good. Doom The Dark Ages, you got Fable 4, and everybody's waiting on the announcement for GTA 6. So the question is that actually going to come out this next year, or is it going to be in 2026? A lot of people think it's going to be 2026. It's kind of what I think too. So many good games. One also that I've been waiting for years at this point is Replaced. That's a 2.5D sci-fi retro futuristic game. Pretty much like I don't want to say it's a Metroidvania, but I think it is. South of Midnight is another good one. Just tons and tons of good games. So lots of stuff coming down the pipe. So we'll see. Next story, EA shuts down Dead Space 4 pitch. So Glenn Schofield, who is one of the primary directors, producers, developers of the original Dead Space, along with two other directors, developers, they had a meeting at EA this last year, and they proposed an idea for potential Dead Space 4 game, but EA wasn't trying to hear it. Christopher Stone, the animation director who had accompanied Schofield to the meeting, had stated, quote, he feels the industry is in a weird place right now and not too many people are willing to take chances on things. This story was actually written on videogameschronicle.com by Tom Ivan, and in the article they go on to say, due to the lackluster sales of the most recent Dead Space game, the remake studio Motive stated plans for further development were put on hold and the studio joined the Battlefield development team. I mean, realistically, I think when it came out, EA probably looked and was like, well, this didn't do as good as we would have liked it to have done, so let's hold off. And I genuinely think if there would have been a lot of interest in that game, they probably would have made a part 4, but I just realistically think that they should have just went ahead and tried to make a part 4. Maybe the proof of concept was the Callisto Protocol game that Glenn Schofield had made. Maybe if that one would have like really set off in a different direction, got the success that it probably wanted, maybe that would have set up bringing him back to do a Dead Space 4. But then again, if that game would have did, really big numbers, would have they just did the Callisto Protocol 2? I think there's a lot of different ways you can look at it, but one thing is for sure is that the lack of success that they were hoping for with the Dead Space remake definitely gave them the information they needed to say, let's hold off on doing a Dead Space 4. People probably aren't as interested in the franchise as we thought. Let's move our direction, our attention to a different direction. And that's exactly what they did. So the final story we got today is from IGN. This is from Wesley Yin Poole. Sega rules out Saturn or Dreamcast mini console. Sega has clearly stated that it has no plans to release any more mini consoles similar to the Sega console it had previously released. A lot of fans were hopeful that Sega was going to release a Sega Saturn Mini or even a Sega Mini Dreamcast, but that's not the case. The Sega America and Europe CEO Shuji Utsumi said it was looking to the future rather than the past for new products. I'm not going for the mini direction, he said. It's not for me. I want to embrace modern gamers. Quote, we are not a retro company. We really appreciate our legacy. We value it, but at the same time, we want to deliver something new. Otherwise, we'll become history. That's not what we're aiming for. It's kind of funny though, because they're like, we're not going to release miniature mini games, but we are going to revive old IP. So, for example, you're talking Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Virtua Fighter, which we did see the Virtua Fighter trailer at the Game Awards. So I think when you talk IP, they're probably looking at it, well, it's a little easier to, invest in creating a refreshed game from an old IP than it is to make or revive a miniature hardware that has the old game, because there's new technology, right? There's new devices, there's new ways people are playing games. Let's give them the refreshed visual aesthetics, the refreshed visuals with the gameplay as well for these IP that were older that can still generate sales because people are older and interested. So, I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I still think that there is a market for those because the retro collectors, you got so many people, so many companies that will produce these handheld devices that are third party utilizing ROMs and things of that nature, kind of like a Raspberry Pi, to play these old games. So why not, as the company, the publisher, the developer of that game or of that system, that console, just make a mini, and now you reap the benefits and people will probably buy it quicker because it is a licensed product. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. I have the mini Nintendo, the mini Super Nintendo, and the mini PlayStation. I have all of those, and I'll continue to get the minis because they're cool. That's the 3 news stories for today. I hope you enjoyed those stories. Be sure to tune in here every week for some more news content. So for this next segment, we're going to do a creator spotlight. The featured creator for this week is a creator by the name of SnowBikeMike. This week, I want to highlight SnowBikeMike, whose recent videos on his game journey through the From Software Games classic Demon's Souls has brought a level of enjoyment and an entertainment that I honestly needed during these holidays. The high quality production he has, which is really just, really nice camera, good color aesthetic, and the high quality visuals of the game. But also his interaction with his community were really enjoyable to watch and experience. He produced 3 videos for the Demon Souls, and the first one was like a 10-hour stream, which I pressed play on that thing in the morning, and by the later half of the day, it was concluding, and then I watched the other 2 that night. So it was just literally I think 14 to 16 hours of SnowBikeMike playing Demon Souls, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. He also has been making YouTube videos for approximately the last 5 to 7 years, but he's also been a producer and host on the Kind of Funny Games, and he's really just starting to gain a lot of traction. His streams and his gameplay to his community on Twitch have really shown a lot of growth, and it's becoming noticeable, and it's really inspiring for a smaller creator like myself, and it really does influence me to keep pushing and keep grinding. So I just want to say thank you to, a creator like SnowBikeMike, and there's other creators from Kind of Funny Games that really do embody what it means to be a gamer first, a gaming creator, and a gaming media figure, if you will. And that's very inspiring. Before we close this show for this week, I want to remind all of you to follow me on social media at Cup of Coffee on Twitter and Instagram. That's at CUPAKAWFEE on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more gaming discussions and live gameplay. Today, we reviewed the Grifter Game, a satirical made-up game. We dove into some exciting gaming news and spotlighted an awesome creator. What did you think of the episode? Let me know. Leave a comment, leave some feedback. So next week we'll discuss what storytelling in games. Do games need a great story? Do not miss it. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and follow the podcast. It really does help. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of the Kawfee Break. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Cup of Kawfee Break. Follow me on Twitch at Cup of Kawfee and connect with me on Twitter and Instagram at Cup of Kawfee. Let's keep the conversations going. Thank you, and until the next episode, peace.